Welcome, folks. Jason here, and hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. This is our last workshop of 2025. This one is called The Shape of Things, and it's an intro to body shapes and also a brief history of body shapes. So let's have a look. What are body shapes? It depends on who you ask. In common parlance, a body shape is basically anything that's not default max as AM or AF. But for those of us who are meshers, for those of us who are a little bit more picky, it's generally accepted as a body of work that enhances one specific size within the catalog. For example, Rio or Slim Bodybuilder. What are the most common body shapes? Again, it depends who you ask and also what's trending right now. Generally, probably Rio, CPU, Fit Chick, and Mama Lisa for females, and LBB, SBB, and BB for males. More importantly, there are several broad categories of meshes that are created that are typically called body shapes, but we will look into that. What is and isn't a body shape? Well, I could lay it out there myself, but I think I will go to the words of the grand lady herself. This is Miros One, as I know her Rose, a friend of mine who for many years curated BSOK. Basically what she's saying is, in order for a shape to be considered, this was at the time to add to legacy BSOK, it had to have nude separates, nude top and bottom meshes, a shower-proof skin tone, and a minimum amount of clothing. For example, Bloom's push-up or Bloom's enhanced bust, it's not a body shape. It's an enhancement of the AF shape. It just makes the breasts a little bit bigger. Also, Enelian's default replacer for AF made AF a little bit curvier, not a body shape. Adding to what Miro said, in my opinion, a body shape needs, at a minimum, nude separate meshes. This is for either building separate outfits or building a skin tone. This is the base. I mean, if you just have clothes, what happens when the sim goes into the shower and reverts back to regular size? So it's not a body shape if it's just a clothes mesh. It needs to have nude separate meshes as a baseline for your work. At least one clothes mesh. You know, just as they need the nude as a baseline, they need something to dress in as well. And an entry in BSOK, or at least one of BSOK's many iterations, to separate it, to say, hey, this is different from Max's clothing. Also, resources. If you want other creators to expand your catalog to build on your body shape, you need to create some kind of resources, a tutorial or WSO actions or something to allow other creators to build that shape. And also support. Legacy BSOK is full of dead body shapes. You don't see, for example, Gypsy Rose Lee. You don't see Neanderthal. You don't see Hourglass or Hollywood or Midwest Farmer's Daughter, because those resources have been lost to time. No one builds for those anymore. So if you're going to create something and slap the label body shape on it, support your crap. Categories. So getting back to the thing I said earlier, while there are many different actual shapes, there are many different meshes, they fall into one of two very broad categories. Either you create content because it's visually appealing to you, this is what I do, or you create content to represent everyone or represent the Sims in your world, to build your world the way that you want to, and that's more of a body positivity thing. So visual appeal, broadly, we have muscular male sizes, we have female curvy sizes, we have female muscular sizes, and we have some of the female miscellaneous sizes. For body positivity, we have male body realism, female body realism, androgyny and trans sizes, and we have female miscellaneous sizes, that is some of them, and we will look into that. So this is the basic spectrum of the muscular male. So we have our baseline, which is max SAM, and then we have LBB, which is a little bit musclier. We go up to SBB, BB, and finally HBB. There are sizes larger than HBB, like massive bodybuilder, but again, no one creates for those because there are no resources. And this is the female curvy spectrum. So we start off with our baseline, which is max SAF, and then we have fit chick, then we have Rio, then we have CPU, then we have Volgal. And generally speaking, it's just kind of they scale upward as you go. But if you know, Rio has a curvier bottom than the rest. So it's not quite a perfect spectrum, but these are the shapes that I find most visually appealing. Then you have muscly sizes. You have athletic girl. This was Marvine's original body shape. I've done some enhancements on it. We'll get into that. BBG. This was originally Marvine's shape. Again, made improvements on it. And then my two shapes, Amazonian and Death by Snoo Snoo. And all of these, you can see they have kind of the cut abs. They have muscular arms. Death by Snoo Snoo has kind of a wider tapered neck than the average Maxis Smash. And they have more muscular legs. So just everything about them is kind of the female bodybuilder shape. Then we have androgyny. So Goth Plague's intent when she built these shapes was to make them as close to each other as possible. You can see that there are still differences. There's the neck seam height. There's the height of the pelvic floor. And the female has a little bit more up top. But basically, this was an attempt to make the two meshes as close to each other as possible. This is really handy if you're a clothing creator going from female to male or vice versa. You can use the androgyny WSO actions kind of as a shortcut toward that. I will also mention trans sizes, although I don't use them in my game. They have become popular in recent years and some creators create for them. Then we have just a generally broad category of miscellaneous sizes, some of the male body realism. So you've got, for example, Bear BB here, you've got the Consort Fat Male, you've got Melody 9's Fat Male, and so on. You have Rengal, which is kind of a classically curvy shape. I don't know if anyone still actively creates for it, maybe on the medieval form. So it's sort of, like the classic Renaissance female body shape. Then you have Sassy Curvy. This one is specialized. I think Snarf and Julie still create for it. Susie, again, Snarf still creates for this one. It was really popular back in the day, but it's kind of gone out of style. Mama Lisa, always popular. Everyone creates content for Mama Lisa. I don't find it super appealing, but again, that's just my subjective opinion. You create for or you download whatever appeals to you. Fashion Model, another of Warlock's classic sizes that's kind of gone out of style. And Dummy Thick, a fairly recent addition. This is actually Digi's shape. It's, I don't know. I mean, kind of like it, but I don't use it very much in my game. So a couple of criticisms that I've received over the years about categories. So this is the first one. I don't like BSOK. I wish there were a better way to optimize body shapes. This is from Beth, better known to the world as Tea Addict. And the way that I would respond to that is, well, I don't super love it either. I wish there were a better way to view just the outfits for one specific shape in the catalog. But at the current time, there isn't. So BSOK, whatever iteration of BSOK you use, is the best that we have for right now. The second criticism, the way that the shapes are categorized doesn't make sense to me. Where does curvy end and body realism begin? And this is from Earl, better known to the world as Earl Grey Tate. My response? It's subjective. The line has to be drawn somewhere, or the wonderful tool that William built for us, BSOK Editor, isn't going to work. I mean, you need to be able to drill it down into some kind of broad category in order to select the specific body shape and assign the clothes to it. So it's arbitrary. I wish there were another way, but you do you. You're able to, one of the cool things about BSOK is you're able to organize the lists however they suit you. So if you don't like the way that I categorize clothes, then build your own list. We get into a brief history of BSOK. I'm not going to read all of this. Basically created in 2011 by the Tiger King 86 and additional support by Chris Hatch. So this was back in the heyday of back alley sims. Everyone was building body shapes. Body shapes were like the next frontier of Sims 2. So everyone, creating their own body shapes. Chris thought it would be a good idea. Hey, maybe we should organize these so they're not all clumped together in CAS or in Bodyshape. And so they discovered a way to leverage the little icons from Nightlife, from OFB, from Apartment Life that the game already uses. They created their own custom icons and applied these to the clothing recolors so that they appear with the little icon in the catalog. A while after that, back alley sims, who could imagine, as most websites, it wasn't getting the traffic, it couldn't pay the bills, it was shuttered. And so then Miros1, or my friend Rose, she picked up Legacy BSOK and she hosted at the Wooden Simoleon for a while. I don't believe that she actually made any changes to it. She mostly just curated it so that there was a place on the internet where people could get Legacy BSOK. The Wooden Simoleon had some issues. Rose kind of semi-retired, and we had a long discussion. She said, I'd like you to take Legacy BSOK for a while. I said, cool. I added a few icons. I fiddled around with the categories. I think eventually this other creator, Bose Knows, he eventually organized BSOK in a logical way so that it could be used with BSOK Editor. And so things were fine for a while. But people started to take it upon themselves to download Legacy BSOK and change it and redistribute it without my knowledge. And because I can't support multiple versions of Legacy BSOK that I don't even know exist half of the time, I stopped supporting Legacy BSOK in November of 2025. So this is kind of an illustration of how BSOK works. Basically, what it's doing is adding little custom icons to every body shape. So you let either the XSmall or the GZPS know that, hey, this is not a custom content. This does not get the asterisk of shame. It gets a custom body shop icon. The problem with Legacy BSOK. So the OG creator doesn't make new resources like WSO actions, links, skin tones, etc. for the shape. New creators don't make meshes because they don't have readily available resources like WSO actions or instructions on how to build it. And the shape takes up valuable real estate in BSOK. Why do we need a whole line for Midwest Farmer's Daughter if Midwest Farmer's Daughter doesn't exist anymore? And it's not a shot at Chris. Chris was trying to meet the needs of the community at the time. He couldn't have possibly anticipated which shapes would continue to be popular and which wouldn't be supported. But as it stands, Legacy BSOK is a mess. MF BSOK. So around 2020, another creator, I knew her as Corina because I had a personal relationship with her at one time, but the rest of the world knows her as Norika on Plum Bob Keep. She asked me to support her in creating a new organization system, which eventually became Medieval Fantasy BSOK or MFBSOK. What it does differently is categories. Instead of just body shape, it has a tier. For example, medieval, barbarian, castaway. This is for historical. And it has all of these different broader categories. And then for fantasy, it has other categories: steampunk, elven, merfolk, etc. And then each of these were further divided into class tags. So there's the broad category, say barbarian, and then within barbarian, there are serf, peasant, merchant, knight, noble, all of these other subcategories. So it was this broad sweeping project, and it supported all of these body shapes. Female curvy. My issue, and I told it to Corina at the time, but she never faced it, is that Volgal on this list is in the wrong place. CPU is smaller than Volgal. And then we have female brawny. Don't love the nomenclature, but that's what she decided to call it. And then we have male, which is the organization could be better, but she was trying to represent as many sizes as possible, I think. The problem with MFBSOK. So the project was sweeping and ambitious. It has subcategories within subcategories, more than was practical for basically most simmers. After the issue that I had at PBK, I was locked out of the project. Corina never bothered to contact me again. And then she retired. She dropped off the map. She doesn't want to support it anymore. So then you have all of the MFBSOK bros coming up to me saying, hey, you should take over the project. We need support for this. There are new sizes, there are new changes. And no, I mean, this is the respect that I received so the MFBSOK bros can pound sand. Finally, new BSOK. New BSOK is my creation. Not going to read all that, but essentially it addresses both the shortcomings of legacy BSOK and the shortcomings of MFBSOK. It was originally intended for modern sci-fi games, but I eventually expanded it to include my barbarian stuff as well because I no longer use MFBSOK for reasons. So essentially, all you have is the body shape, but within the body shape, you have these little tags. You have civilian, enlisted / security, officer, tech, rebel, outlaw. That's what I put my bikers in. You have entertainment, merry minstrels. You have media / action news, NSFW, and then you have corporate and barbarians at the gate / fantasy. And new BSOK is a little bit funky because I didn't want to build it for a whole bunch of body shapes at once. So the order is kind of funky. So we have female curvy. I always build for this set of meshes. We have female muscly. I always build for this set of meshes. We have female body realism. These are meshes that I used to build for, but eventually abandoned, but I decided to add tags for them anyway. Then we have female miscellaneous. These are sizes that I have not built for, but other folks have asked me to support over time. So at fashion model, we got Susie, we got Bootylicious, we got Sassy Curvy, and we've got Dummy Thick. Then we've got the male muscly sizes. These are my favorites. I always build clothes for these meshes. We have male body realism, shapes that I have historically built for, but no longer do. And then we have miscellaneous. These are sizes that folks have asked me to add to the catalog, but I don't really use. Then we get into BSOK Editor. BSOK Editor is a tool that allows you to batch edit clothes, hair, and accessory recolors. It does the heavy lifting so that you don't have to. I love this tool. It's my bread and butter. I use it every day. Whereas Manually, it would take me about an hour to 2 hours to edit a set of clothing recolors. With BSOK Editor, I can do this in like 5 minutes. Beyond this, BSOK Editor also allows you to edit gender, age, category, and shoe sound, which is really handy if you want to change the shoe sound that clothing makes or what categories it can be worn in. So we will get into the editing process in the demonstration bit, but once you're done editing, it's going to turn red like so, and you save your changes. And when you put it back into the catalog, it will show up with its custom icon. What is B.O.O.T.Y? So I get asked a lot, what is B.O.O.T.Y? Like people will say, oh, well, this is just for your custom body shapes, isn't it? No, it's a little bit broader than that. So way back in the day, I had this project called OMIP, Ocelotekatl Mesh Improvement Plan. What that does, it was supposed to address the flaws of some of my previous body mesh projects, like inconsistent feet. My Maxis males had sexy feet, and then all of the other male sizes have Marvin feet. And so B.O.O.T.Y is the final version. It's the boss tier OMIP. What B.O.O.T.Y adds, we have consistent sexy feet across all of the meshes, consistent digi hands or less delicate smooth hands across all of the meshes. We have cut abs for the muscly female sizes. So as I said, Marvin, she created the base shapes for athletic girl and bodybuilder girl. What I did, I trimmed the abs out of lean bodybuilder and I just spliced those to athletic girl and bodybuilder girl. Spent a bunch of time remapping and splicing the meshes and doing animation tests until they look pretty much perfect. And then I did the same thing. I trimmed the abs out of slim bodybuilder and added those to my muscly sizes to Amazonian and Death by Snoosu. Consistent morphing. I used to use like a bunch of different fat morphs depending on the project. But now I consistently use Aquilegia's, that's Claire, or as the world knows her, Lifa. She has this Aquilegia morph for male and female. So I use Lifa's or Aquilegia's morphing action for AF and curvy. And then I have my own custom morphing actions for adults and teens of all of the muscly and dude sizes. And then what it fixes, foot mapping. Originally, the sexy feet weren't mapped correctly, so I fixed the mapping on all of the nude meshes for when you do custom feet with two-tone skin tones, like the Charon skins that I shared in Designer Jeans 4. Then we've got fixed ab muscle mapping. That was an issue with OMIP that I corrected in B.O.O.T.Y. And we've got better neck proportions for SNU and leg proportions for BBG. Again, not trying to be harsh toward Marvin, but way back in the day, from the waist down, her athletic girl and bodybuilder girl were almost identical. So I made some edits to bodybuilder girl. I made her thighs a little bit bigger so that they look slightly different from the waist down. And then SNU, the calf muscles were kind of messed up in OMIP, so I addressed the way that the calf is shaped in B.O.O.T.Y for Death by SNU. So let's put it into practice. In the resource post, I shared a link to one of Snarf's latest outfit collections. It's the spiked corset. And go ahead and grab that if you want to follow along at home. So we open BSOK Editor. The first thing that we're going to do is make sure that it's in advanced mode and that all of these checkboxes are checked so it shows these little things down here. Next. So we look, we see that the first one up is Athletic Girl. So let's just shift select all of the ones that say AG. Then in this dropdown, the second dropdown, we go to muscly sizes. The first one that pulls up is athletic girl, but say I don't want this in civilian. I want to add entertainment merry minstrels, which is going to give it a green tag. So we select that. And then, see, once we move away, that turned red. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go shift select all of Amazonian. So we've selected Amazonian. And this time, check this out. There's this search box here. I believe William added that in 2.2 or 2.3. We enter Amaz. And it's going to find Amazonian for us. Then we just select Entertainment Merry Minstrels. Just like that. Then we shift select all of CPU. And we know that's in curvy sizes. And we know that that's CPU. Then we just go Entertainment Merry Minstrels. That's CPU. Then Fit Chick. So we shift select all of our Fit Chick just like that. And let's use the search box. Let's leverage this cool little innovation that William added. So we go Fit Chick, Entertainment Merry Minstrels. And there we shift select Rio. Entertainment Merry Minstrels. And then we shift select Sassy Curvy. And we find it in the search box. And then we just go Entertainment Merry Minstrels. And then we shift select all of Susie. Once again, SUS. And then can unclick that and we can see that all of these have been edited now. And in just a minute or so, just a couple of minutes, I edited, goodness, 100 and some recolors. So we give that probably 200 recolors. We give that a quick save. This would take you a couple of hours if you were to do it manually. Okay, and then there it is. It saved all of our edits. We can now close out and we're ready to test it in game. So we have our sim and we scroll until we find.
Ravishing.
That's a really nice outfit, by the way.
Oh, fun.
So we had this spiked corset outfit and you can see all of these are tagged as Fit Chick. And he made a whole mess of that is a really nice project. Snarf did a great job here. You see all of these are tagged as Fit Chick. Then we zip forward. And we've got all the Rio ones.
Rude.
That is a really, like, one, Luxwood, I know they don't love sharing their content or having other people convert it, but that's a really nice outfit. And two, Snarf did an amazing job here. So let's try. Volyal doesn't exist for this site. So let's have a look at some of the AG.
Flower remedy.
That is,
Great
yeah,
fellow.
that is an amazing outfit. So you can see it's for, we've got it for athletic girl. And then he did it for Amazonian as well. Look at all of those. Yeah, there's just no good way to
Lemon.
go.
My friend.
Looks really good in Amazonian. And let's go all the way back and see if we can see the sassy curvy size. So we got Susie.
Problem.
And we got sassy curvy.
Absol flatted. Oh, we're brutally.
And you can see each one has its own custom icon. And because I chose Entertainment Merry Minstrels, it's got the little green tag on it. But you can choose, you can categorize it differently as well.
Good friend.
And one thing that I was going to point out just as a bit of bonus content. So you can see this is AG and she's got some serious ab muscles. The reason for that is this is one of the booty meshes. This is not the standard Marvin athletic girl mesh. And I'll try to find that. This is BBG. And you can see pretty much the same thing. And then once again with Amazonian, she's got the really, you can see the cut abs, and it's just, it looks a lot better than my original work just because I've improved it over the years. And then finally, Death by Snoo Snoo. See those really well-defined abs. And that's pretty much it.